Hello, everybody. It is Jenny here giving you an update on um, how I'm doing on the hCG diet on round 3, which is like starting over at the beginning of round 1, round 2. Actually, it's not because I am higher now than I have been in over a decade. So, does the hCG diet work? Yes. Is it sustainable? No, because you're not supposed to stay on hCG hormone. You're supposed to go off of it. But there is a plan in place that you are supposed to follow to maintain your weight until you can go again and then lose some more. Or a plan to maintain if you're at your ideal weight. Okay, that's a whole separate conversation. That all has to do with willpower and, yeah, well, for me, it all has to do with willpower. I'm very astute. I've been on enough diets. I've been on Weight Watchers. I've tried everything and I've done everything. So I'm very familiar with what healthy eating is, what I should eat, what I should not eat. That has nothing to do with my weight gain. My weight gain is simply me overriding my consciousness and knowing what I should eat to say that for whatever reason I deserve it, and I can justify for a million different ways why. It's the holidays, my kids are home, I'm going to be dieting in the new year. I mean, like, and then you start adding them on top of each other, and well, I already fell off the wagon, so what's it going to matter if I continue on this? I may as well just enjoy this time and then I'll get back on the bandwagon. um so yeah, so here we go, round 3. I did 2 days of loading, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I ate and today, and talk about what the loading days are in case you don't want to go back in the videos from the previous round to see what loading is all about. So when you are on the hCG diet for your, oh, I didn't do numbers, did I? Let me do numbers in case you don't want to watch this video. I get that. Today I got on the scale. I was 174.4. I have not been in the 170 since after my 3rd child was born. I just dropped him off at school because he slept in. Oh, I just finished teaching my last class, and there's my son standing in my bedroom next to me. I about jumped out of my seat, not expecting anyone to be home. So I just dropped him off at school. He is 16 years old. 16 years since I have been in the 170s. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Here we go. So anyway, I was all the way up to 178.9 at the end of my loading days. I started at 172.9. I got up to 178.9, which is a gain of 6 pounds. I said yesterday I gained 5 pounds. Bad math. I gained 6 pounds on the 2 loading days. So the first day, yesterday, was my first day of eating the hCG protocol foods, and the scale today said I was down 4.5 pounds. So that makes sense. If you're freaking out over these numbers, don't freak out over these numbers. There's 2 things that are at play. One, my weight is very variable. It fluctuates a lot. I was going to say it's very fluctuating, but that somehow doesn't seem grammatically correct. So within the course of a week, my weight does go up and down a lot, and a lot of it has to do with what I simply ate the day before and everything. And I think a lot of it's water retention. I felt very bloated yesterday. My like calves were rock solid, and they should just be full of fat. They should not be rock solid. I was not on the treadmill, but maybe 5 times in the month of I don't want to say the whole month of December, but in the last 2 weeks, I would say, well, within the last 2 weeks, probably 3 times I got on the treadmill. Yeah, that's not great. I was consistently doing it every single day. That was my plan, to do it throughout the break, but if you watch yesterday's video, I have my whole explanation as to why I didn't. Not a good one, but it's the truth. It's the reason. Videos are all about the truth. It's just like, really, it's just reality. This is what my life is. Just stating it like it is, not saying that that's what you should do. Not really trying to justify it either, just explaining what the justification was in my brain, if that makes sense. So I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying this is what I did. All right, so due to water retention, bowel movement, whatever, all of that comes into play. The scale was down 4.5 today. In general, I do find that I gain usually about 5 pounds in my load days, and then I usually lose 5 pounds at the end of the first 2 days on the diet. So you have 2 days of eating gloriously, as I'll talk about in a little bit. And then 2 days later than that, all the weight that I have put on from that comes right back off, or at least the scale says that it's the same. That's really all that psychologically I need. Did all the calories you take in get burned off within 2 days? No, probably not. Well, let's just say no, they didn't. But 4.5 pounds is not unusual since I gained 6, and I usually lose more on the first day on the diet than I do on the second. So hopefully I lose at least a pound and a half tomorrow. And then I will be, as I always am when on the hCG protocol, ready to begin really on day 3 with true weight loss from the beginning. So those first 4 days are like 2 days of weight gain, 2 days of weight loss. Now let's really start dieting. All right, so those first 2 days I talked about were load days. Okay, so load days are days that you first start taking your injections or your drops in the case of myself, because I don't do injections. I don't want to be poking myself every day. I have no desire to do that. So I just take the lovely grape tasting drops and put them under my tongue, sublingual drops. You just hold under your tongue, they go into your system. After a few minutes, you just swallow them, and all is well. That just seems so much more pleasant. Why do people do injections? I don't know. Maybe people have different justifications. I don't want to say you shouldn't. Some really diehard people are really into it, but yeah, it's just not my thing to poke myself every day if I don't need to, and it just seems I don't know, so much more medical or something. I just never want to inject. I've never injected drugs in me. I just, I don't like it when I have to get blood drawn. I look the other way. Um, so yeah, injections are not for me. So here we go. We're starting on the diet, and the first 2 days are considered load days. The purpose behind load days is that you are going to increase your fat stores in your body. This makes it doable to get through the first 5 to 7 days on the diet. That first week, if you didn't do load days and you just started on the diet, you will be very hungry. You will be very hungry. So it's kind of twofold. One, those first 2 days are also when you're starting to take your drop. So you're loading, which is eating a lot of food, and I'll explain what I ate. Um, and you're taking the drops at the same time. So it takes about 24 hours, or I think Dr. Simmons says it takes to the third injection, which would be the beginning of the third day, for your body to fully have its full stores of hCG running through it. It kind of has to build up in your system. So if you went and started doing a 500 calorie diet and you don't have the hCG in your system, you're going to be ravenously hungry. A huge part of hCG hormone is an appetite suppressant, believe it or not, which I honestly didn't think was going to work for me, because I'm never really hungry. I just eat because I love eating. I love food, and I love to eat. I love everything about eating. I love the taste of it. I love the crunch of it. I love the sound of it. I love the social aspect of it. Uh, I like to multitask. This is the truth. I like to multitask. I'm a person who's kind of like, I do this and do that and do this and do that. And so like when I'm watching television and I'm eating, it's almost like multitasking. I know this seems like justification, but I know in my brain that this is part of it, that like I get a little fidgety just sitting there watching something on TV. But if you're watching something, I don't know, I was going to say like The Crown, um, and a little bit of The Crown, but a lot of things that have subtitles are move quickly. The Crown doesn't move quickly, but if something moves quicker, and you really have to stay on top of watching everything that happens, or if you miss a little bit, you're going to be lost later on, then I can't also have my laptop on my lap or balance a checkbook or some other things that I could do as I could during like some comedy show. Um, so for me, it still gives me anxiety to just sit there. It really does. I should take up knitting or something like that. Although I probably have to look to knit, don't I? And I need to be watching the television. So this gives me something to do. So I need to stop that. Maybe if I chew gum, I should try that. Not a huge gum chewer, but maybe I should make myself chew more gum, and then I'll feel like something else is happening besides just sitting still and watching. I don't do well sitting still. I get my nails done at the salon, and I find somebody who is the fastest person in the whole salon, because sitting there with my hands still the whole time drives me nuts. I always look at the television and watch what's going on because it makes me feel like I can distract from the fact that I'm just looking at my hands holding perfectly still. Just bugs me. I don't know what it is. I'm a fidgety person, I guess. So you think that I'd be really productive in my life. Don't get me wrong, I'm not. All right. So those first 2 load days are going to fill up those fat stores. They're going to get you to the point that the hCG is in your body as well, to help satiate your hunger cravings and make it doable to be on the diet. So when you're on the diet basically goes to your fat stores before it goes to your muscles. That's part of what the hCG hormone does as well. And if I backtrack a little bit, it's hCG is a hormone that's produced mostly in women during pregnancy, and it is something that even if you are like really sick, you have morning sickness and you're vomiting a lot and you're not feeling well, this hCG hormone takes over and it takes energy from your fat stores as opposed to your muscles. It's just brilliant. God's amazing, isn't he? So that your body will then still have the muscles to move around, and it provides all of this to the fetus. And so the baby gets all this nutrients. So even women, they found in studies in Ethiopia and places where they didn't have a lot of food and they were essentially very hungry and undernourished. They were delivering healthy babies. And so this is where the study of hCG sort of came in. They were, because people were just studying women, like, how is it that these women are not eating much and they're very malnourished and yet they're delivering full-term healthy babies? How can that be? And so it was the hCG hormone that they discovered was the link in here. Okay, so I digress a lot. If you haven't watched previous videos, I don't even know what I was saying when I started going off on that tangent. Okay, so the 2 days of loading are going to fill up your fat stores. I mean, I know you think, oh, I'm going on a diet, I have fat stores. Clearly, I'm in the 170s. I have fat stores that can be used, but the fat stores are not enough. You need to increase more. And also, that first week on the diet is going to be difficult even with the fat stores because it's such um, a change in your pattern of life. You're going from being somebody who, I mean, just last night was the first night, first full day I was on the diet. And at one point I just thought, oh, I'm going to go get, no, I can't. I'm just going to grab a, no, I can't. I was just thinking, my brain kept going like, and I wasn't hungry. I wasn't hungry at all. My stomach wasn't growling. My stomach wasn't hungry, but my mouth was thinking, something chocolate would be really good, right? Oh, no, 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 I can't have chocolate. I'm like, oh, something crunchy. I think I want to, no, I can't have that either. So, and then I have to consciously tell myself in those moments, Jenny, are you hungry? This is what I do every single time that I find myself wanting to get something to eat or going to grab something to eat or thinking, oh, I just wish I could have it. I always pause, close my eyes and think, are you hungry? And the answer is always no. It's always no. I'm not hungry. I just want to eat. So we're breaking that habit of just eating, mindless eating. Even if it's mindful, just eating too much, which is where, if we're on a diet, many of us have gone to get here. If you're one of those skinny little kids that needs to only lose 5 pounds, hCG diet's not for you. So you can just click off right now and go find yourself a little workout video or something like that with a skinny 20-year-old running around and sweating. That's for you. This isn't for you. This is for people who have a lot of weight to lose and they want to lose it in a fairly short period of time. It's a good, if you can find another exercise plan and diet plan to be on after this, then that's wonderful. So this is really just should be used as a springboard. It should be used for only 21 days. You can go up to 42 days. Is it double the 21? Yeah. You can go up to 42 days if you want on it, but you're supposed to be taking a little break in the middle there in terms of a couple days off. I'll talk about that on another video, but essentially this was designed to be a 21-day diet. Okay, so load days. What do you eat on the load days? Maybe I'll talk another time just about clean loading and that, but in general, clean loading is what you're supposed to be doing really on the protocol anyway, because the concept behind the load days is to fill up your fat stores. So what you're supposed to be eating for 2 days as you take your drops these first 2 days are high fat foods, high fat content foods. You should be having bacon and eggs. Run to McDonald's and get some French fries. That was part of what I did. That's it's on the top of my mind. 2 double cheeseburgers and a large fry, please. Um, not necessarily candies or sugars or like I actually saw somewhere at one point somebody saying, oh, have regular soda. Like, no, regular soda, there's no fat in regular soda. It's just sugar. And that's what you should avoid. So in terms of like clean loading and what's the best kind of loading according to what Dr. Simeons in his protocol said is he specifically said high fat content foods. Let me see if I have that information I pulled up again. Dr. Simeon's original protocol states, quote, you must eat to capacity the most fattening foods you can get down until you have had your third injection. Okay, so really that's until you get to your third day, because if you're doing injections, you do them first thing in the morning. So you take your third injection and you stop. So that is really after 2 full days of eating. So what did I have? I can't remember. In the morning, I had some crackers with cheese. I had some Colby cheese and some cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese left over from hors d'oeuvres, and wonderful crackers, like the good crackers. What are those called? Club crackers. Aren't those good? They're just white flour. I mean, they're not good for you in any stretch of the imagination, but they just like melt in your mouth. They're almost like a butter cracker, but they're called, what did I just say they were called? Club crackers. I think they're made by Keebler. Anyway, my favorite crackers, of course, bought those because it's New Year's Eve. And I had a bunch of slices of Colby and the 3 cheeses I mentioned. So I had that in the morning. I was taking pieces of cheese and I was eating more cheese than cracker, like really almost like wrapping the cracker with the cheese and then eating it because I had the cheese in thin slices. So I had that in the morning. I did have to go, I had to go get my nails done actually. So I went and got my nails done. And then afterwards, I ran to Giant Eagle across the street. Giant Eagle is a grocery store. It's like the major chain here in Ohio. I think it's based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, actually. Or I should just say Pennsylvania. I don't know if it's from Pittsburgh. I thought it was Pittsburgh, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, my daughter who's in California, all her friends think it's hysterical that they have a grocery store chain called Giant Eagle, which is so funny because it's really the only grocery store chain in the Cleveland area. We have Kroger's in more southern part of Ohio, but there's really no other. I mean, we have Acme's, sort of a lesser grocery store chain. But Giant Eagle's the main one. So anyway, there was a Giant Eagle across the street, and I went and I got 4 of the Long John donuts, chocolate on the top with the cream in the center. Probably more sugar than I should have been having on the diet, but that is like one of my favorite desserts of all time. I also would love a Little Debbie Swiss cake roll. Not Ho-Ho's, they're not good. They're like dry and yucky, but the Little Debbie Swiss cake roll. So I really like chocolate with white cream. Don't like custard at all, but anyway, so I got 4 of those Long Johns. Bought those. Didn't eat them yet because on the way home, I stopped and got 2 double cheeseburgers and a large fry at McDonald's. So I ate the cheeseburgers and fries, had a Long John afterwards, and then as the day went on, had another one, eventually had another one, eventually had another one. I'm trying to think of what I had for dinner. I know I had a plate of nachos. So I had tortilla chips and I just covered it in shredded whole cheddar cheese. And so like it was lots of cheese. Less chips, more cheese. So I did focus on fats as much as I could. And I had something else for dinner, and I honestly can't tell you what was my actual dinner. I don't remember. Oh, I don't remember if that was day 1 or day 2, to be honest with you. Oh, actually, that was day 2, because day 1, I was just eating everything that was already in the house, so just whatever I could find. Day 1 was on a Sunday, and I had driven my daughter back to the airport to fly back to California. after being home for her break. She's in the entertainment industry, so everything shuts down for 2 weeks there. So she was home for 2 weeks over Christmas and New Year's, and she was flying back. And oh, actually, her flight got delayed. So my husband drove her because I had classes to teach. I had nothing booked in the morning and I had it all planned out perfectly. But then I had classes. I teach kids in China English. Um, and I didn't think I'd be back in time. So my husband drove her. So I didn't get out as I normally would. And I didn't run errands. And even if I did take her to the airport, I wouldn't have had time to pick up stuff. So I just ate stuff around the house, whatever I could find, leftover stuff from all the holidays. There's plenty here to fulfill. But I wanted to make sure I had a day of eating my absolute favorite things to just like kind of get that out of the way and not feel like, oh, this is so deprived. So things like I haven't had a McDonald's hamburger since the last time I loaded, you know, 4 or 5 months ago, whenever it was. Um, Probably not that long ago. I think it was November, 3 months ago. Um, so the one other thing that I had, oh, I found in the refrigerator one of the things we made for Christmas when we had people come over, as well as New Year's Eve, are pigs in a blanket. Well, you know, little cocktail hot dogs, and you wrap them up in crescent rolls and cook them. So I had an entire container of crescent rolls left over, and um, I just thought that really shouldn't be in the house. Not only is it tempting to see it in the refrigerator, but I knew that if my husband or son would be cooking it and I would smell it, that would be very, very tempting because crescent rolls are so good, aren't they? So, I didn't have any more hot dogs left over. I don't think, but I was also in a hurry, so I may have just not wanted to go through the time. I didn't actually look to see if I had any mini cocktail hot dogs left, but I just made the whole entire sleeve of crescent rolls. Ate them all. Yes, I did. And then I had a little dish because after about two of them, I thought, you know, they're not as phenomenal. Like the first two are like, this is amazing. And after that, I'm like, how can I make them better? And I thought, well, I could dip them in honey, but I didn't want to go with the sugar. So I melted butter and I dipped them in melted butter. So yeah, the amount of fat. No wonder I gained 6 pounds on my load days, right? Right. So by the end of that day, I ate my last donut. I actually had classes that evening. Um, and it was like 10 o'clock at night when I was done with the classes. And I had saved the last donut for after that because I kind of get wound up when I teach my classes. And so I thought, I'll be awake and that'll be a fun thing to eat to kind of go, this is the last thing I'm going to have before um, 21 days of eating only 500 calories a day with none of these high fat foods or sweets involved. So it was enjoyable. Yeah. I mean, if I went back and added up the thousands of calories. So then yesterday, so that's what I ate. And you can eat whatever you want. Part of this is a psychological part of the diet too. And knowing that you can eat whatever you want for 2 days and you're encouraged to eat whatever you want for 2 days. You can have just something sugary if you want. It's just not as ideal because you want to fill up your fat stores. And so you don't want to waste calories on that because you're going to feel full. By the end of the second day, usually I really struggle to eat on my day two of loading. I think because I gained so much weight so quickly and I was in such a habit of eating such a huge volume of food every day. And I don't think of myself as eating a huge volume of food, to be honest with you. But normally I'm busy all day and I only eat, 1 to 2 meals a day. Um, and with everybody being here from the time I'm done, like people are making breakfast in the morning, and so I'm like, oh, I'll eat with you. Oh, I'll eat with you, and yeah, that's where it all went astray. It's just hard to sit there and smell bacon and eggs being cooked and not have any. But normally on a day like today, I'm having no trouble not having breakfast. Now, of course, I'm on hCG protocol, but even on a regular day without the hCG protocol, I would not be hungry or thinking, ooh, I want to make myself bacon and eggs in the morning. I would just go about my day and get started. But everyone being home and with nothing to do and no one going to jobs. Well, my second daughter did go to her doggy daycare, but there was always somebody in the house because my son was home from high school, Christmas break. My husband's a school teacher, Christmas break. Everybody was around. Um, so that's where it all went astray for me. Now, I guess summertime is that way too, but it's different in summertime because you have the shorts and t-shirts you're putting on to motivate you on a daily basis to see yourself. In the winter, when you're wearing clothes like this, you don't really notice. What was that? Oh, it's a feather. Ha, little down feather from my comforter. Um, I personally don't notice as much, and I do have a closet full of clothes that vary in sizes. I like them all too. It's hard to get rid of them because I would get rid of the larger stuff if I really didn't even like it, but some of them are really kind of cute. And you can wear big sweaters and sweatshirts and even shirts with like leggings or something like that when you're not that size. So, um, mm, I never will be again a person with really tight fitting tops. I think part of that also is just after my ruptured appendix surgery, my whole midsection is just not looking the same as it once did. So I don't think I'll ever be wearing tight fitting things, but I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Um, don't think so. Yeah. I'm at the age that I probably shouldn't anyway. Once you hit 50, I think tight fitting clothes should really go out the window. But anyway, I don't judge. If you want to, go right ahead. I probably say that because I can't carry it off. Yeah. I say the same thing about wearing a two-piece bathing suit, but would I wear one if I had a rocking body? Probably. Just don't have a rocking body anymore. All right, so there you go. That's what you eat on your first 2 days. Lots of fats and high content, high fat content food. Um, you'll gain a lot in those first 2 days while you're on the hCG protocol and taking the drops, I should say. And then once you hit P2, which is the stage where you eat your 500 calories, you're going to drop it pretty quickly. All right, so we'll see how day 3 goes tomorrow. Oh, I always say what I ate on the days too. Yesterday, I ate a salad, lightly coated with um, honey mustard dressing and 2 chicken breasts because I only ate one meal. So 2 chicken breasts that were baked a couple days ago, and I have in the refrigerator all ready to go. So I cut up 2 of those, put it in with the salad. I sprinkled this true confessions. Yeah, I could get by and not even tell you this and be fine because the scale said I lost 4.5 pounds. So I don't even have to let you know. But I did sprinkle a little mozzarella cheese on it because I just thought, let's wean ourselves into this diet. After a whole month of eating so poorly and then 2 days of loading, it's really hard to just eat lettuce and chicken. And the chicken, I don't want to say the chicken was dry. The chicken wasn't dry, but I mean, it wasn't like there was a mayo sauce or any kind of great stuff along with it. It wasn't chicken cordon bleu or anything like that. So I had cooked it with some great seasoning spices, but it's not the same. So I did sprinkle a little bit of mozzarella cheese. Not much, but a little bit just to and it was an enjoyable salad, I will say. And I did a good job. The last time I was on this diet, I always had to have another snack later in the day, a small protein snack of some sort. Um, and I didn't need that yesterday. I wanted it at one point, as those thoughts kept going through my mind of like, oh, I should go get a cracker. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, I want a piece of chocolate. No, I can't. Maybe just a cup of hot chocolate. No, I can't. Um, all those things that I thought of, I thought I could, get some sort of protein in that. But then I just thought, I don't really need it. So I'm going to hold off and hopefully not have that second snack, but maybe I'll get myself after a few days on this diet, after like the first 5 days, and a lot of the major fat stores are starting to get eaten away at. Maybe I will need that little extra protein later on. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try not to because I try to do my diet a combination of intermittent fasting along with hCG. It just works for me. All right. So I will talk tomorrow about what you eat on your 500 calorie days and how you should eat it. And then I'll tell you how I do it, which is a little bit different. But you can cater this a little bit to yourself and not be so rigid on it because you shouldn't be miserable. Now, that doesn't mean eat 1,000 calories a day. by any means. But I just mean like I tweak the times that I eat, and I tweak a little bit of what I eat. I don't eat everything that they tell me to eat, and I eat a little bit different. I add a little something different, and I take out a couple things. So there you go. Okay, day 1 on the diet. I have written down day 2 here on my sheet of paper. I don't know why. I'm going to have to change that. Something's wrong. Anyway, yesterday was really day 1. Today is, oh, that's why, because yesterday was day 1 on the diet. Today is day 2 on the diet. I only had one weigh in, which was this morning. All right. I will come and talk to you again tomorrow. Good luck to all of you. I've seen some postings. So some of you are on the diet with me. Some of you are doing different things. A lot of you are being very successful on the diets that you're doing. So keep it up. Proud of you. You motivate me. You really do. All right. See you tomorrow.